Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 3, and I hope you are doing well. I hope your week has been well, and I hope you had the time to, self-reflect a bit, or, sometimes when the everyday is getting a lot, I hope you had a great week. And yeah, this week, I feel like the topic I want to talk a bit about design and especially product design and talk a bit about the tech space, my experience with it and where we at the moment and just give a little bit of advice or what I would have done differently and just yap about it basically. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna quickly look at my notes. Where are they? And then we're gonna get started. And I this week has been so dark, and I have to say I am so excited to soon be living again in a warm country because honestly the darkness ain't for me. Like I've tried it. Like I've tried to be the cool girl living in Berlin, like trying this the darkness with the weather, but honestly for me it's really hard. I don't know why. I get really unmotivated to do anything. I just want to lay in my bed and watch Netflix, and that's not good. So yeah, design as an industry, I mean, there's different parts of design. So let me track back a bit. So, I studied fashion economics and technology in uni, and basically I had parts of my course being fashion, parts of it being design and like programming and stuff, and parts of it being about economics and the really basics of economics, statistics and all these kind of things. And from there, I learned the basics of like Figma and Adobe, and got a hint of like what it's like to work with design. Obviously, I'm big interested in fashion, so that kind of design has always been on my mind as well. But you know, um, digital design. Let's talk about digital design. So, I got my first introduction to that really early. I started, using Canva, and then I started with Adobe. Then I did a project for Reddit. And that was like my first big project, like selling worldwide. We had an exhibition on Times Square, and I sold a lot of NFTs basically. And the same time I got into like blockchain and crypto and Web3 and all this stuff. And um yeah, and I didn't know that digital design is going to be so huge, not only in the sense of, making digital art, but also making design interfaces, UX, UI, all this kind of stuff. So if you look at design itself and product design, it's such a huge range of things that you can look at. You can look at um, product designs from an app perspective. You can look at product design from a physical product. You can look at product design from, just the experience of the user or like the flow, the UX, UI of an app. And I think that made me really confused with where to even start learning. And yeah, Reddit was obviously a great experience, getting starting with my own project, having a deadline, really seeing what an international standard looked like, working with Adobe on the project and having to perform basically. Sorry. I always get like a throat pain when I'm recording. And something I realized then when worked and the agency that I worked for later on, we had designers, we had marketers, we had all different kinds of people. Obviously, we all kind of had touch with design, but let's say not even from there, but also from social media and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping around design, and I don't necessarily understand it because there are a lot of free resources and a lot of programs you can use by yourself, but then people are gatekeeping a thing when in actuality, any design or any art you create is not something inherently new. What I mean with that is there's this book called How to Steal Like an Artist, and it doesn't tell you how to steal art, but it basically tells you that any design or art is based on another person's concept or idea. So in my head, why are you gatekeeping and why are you like this pressed about something? Yeah. And then obviously now we have AI and a lot of people feel threatened also by the future of design being interrupted with AI solutions, like you can design whole logos and apps, you can design whole concepts, like whole frameworks and um even if you want to design an app, you can just basically chat GPT everything. The start of it, obviously you would have to, iterate it a bit. I feel like, but in the future, I think we're gonna get there where all of these creative works are even within music or sound making is gonna be influenced by AI, and that's really scary. And that's why I think a lot of people are gatekeeping as well because they are threatened by the industry, by other people maybe taking their job, by their own wanting to be their own creative person and having an individual voice within the space. And I think that's why the design industry can be really cutthroat, even from a fashion perspective. Like the fashion industry, we have the same kind of thing where I'm back. Anytime I start yapping, I have my throat is not working. Anyway, so what I mean is even within fashion, like, it's a lot of gatekeeping as well. And I have a friend who worked at Louis Vuitton and she said to me, man, it's so crazy like how people are just eager to, I don't want to say snitch, but like snitch on the job and like it's such a cutthroat industry, so I get it, but also it can be really isolating experience than working in these jobs. And that's why I always also worked for a lot of marketing departments because they're a bit more chill, I would say, about their approaches and they're not as respected in many ways as well. So yeah, so that's my point. Like, marketing is very essentially you're also dealing with design, you're also dealing with storytelling, and you're not dealing especially with the technical aspect as much. But I think I always preferred sometimes working with the marketing people because they were more chill about like their approach of sharing knowledge, sharing, insights, like and I don't really like working in a cutthroat environment. I don't know about you guys, but um and then recently I've joined a lot of calls with startup founders building their own apps and in early stage startups, and I realized that there's a lot of apps that are being built, but there's not really like I don't like there's obviously a millions and billions of users on the internet that could tap into an app, but I feel like the building an app is you have to have some kind of utility behind it before you even build the app or like some sort of community, I would say, because otherwise like you're wasting a lot of resources on building this app and time. Obviously, you can build an app for fun, but most of the time what I see is people are building apps and there's like zero community yet or zero thought about users actually needing the app. And there's more thought about investor money and how can we get the next paycheck to get more people on board to build this app when in actuality you would start at point A and not at point D, if that makes sense, right? I've got a cough drop now, so maybe it's better for me. So yeah, what I'm saying is that I think about there should be, I don't necessarily want to say there should be less apps, but I'm just saying there needs to be more utility with the apps that I see. And there's a really good video I can recommend anyone who had the idea of, starting a product in the tech sense, and that is the Y Combinator video where it's like 10 minutes, they just run through it and basically they say that when you have the idea, so from the early stages when you start building with your developers, you have 2 months or like 1 month to 2 months to have a demo. Like there's no excuse for you to take a whole year to have a functioning demo, if that makes sense. Like you have to do it quick, the demo, and I think it makes so much sense because you're wasting so much time otherwise on, you know, um, how you say, not even having the basics before. Like you can always pivot, afterwards when you have the demo and stuff. But I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me, some things. Obviously now AI is the big trend, even in Silicon Valley. And yeah, even when I was in SF, everything was with AI, like all the billboards, everything has AI on it. And um, it is scary, but also it gives you like an idea of like there's gonna come very much more complex design. For example, interactive voice design or VR, AR interactive apps, or you have an AI systems to build everything. And that's crazy because that has never been done before. And I'm trying to always be more optimistic than pessimistic in general. But I think I hope that in the future, 3D has also become more accessible, like 3D and animation. I mean, it's already really accessible, but I feel like what if you could just type into AI, okay, could you make me a 3D rendered um human, I don't know, design for a commercial for a jewelry brand? Like that'd be amazing. And let's be honest, 3D design just takes so much time. At least I have not figured out to do 3D super quick. Like I don't know how people do it. I know some people who can do it, but they must have had crazy libraries of pieces that they stack on top of each other because otherwise I cannot imagine. They must have a computer that is like so full. Like my computer is already full, but these like 3D designers, man, I don't know, their files must be like crazy sizes. Like that's always something I might need to invest in, like a huge computer, with so much space. Yeah, and I that's something I think about a lot. Like I love like what I like about the product design and the design circle in special in general is the mood boarding and wireframing and you're using Miro or whatever you're using Figma to mood board or get ideas and like take something to another level and really think about what you're doing. I really like that more because in marketing, for example, it's just like quick, 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 And um, but also a lot of my friends who are product designers or are in design, it's really hard to get like these really great positions. Like it takes so much time and effort to get even like a junior role or like mid-level role at the moment. And I think that's really frustrating, It's like I don't know. I feel like I wish the industry would be a bit more accessible, like it is for girls to join marketing. I feel like joining design roles at like big companies like Apple or Google is still like such a hustle. Like you have to be such a freak to get there. And then it's like I love my job. Like I love working, a job that I like, but it's not my whole life, and I don't want to sacrifice my whole life. And that's another problem I have with the fashion industry is like I have to sacrifice my whole identity and my whole life to dedicate this. The thing I thought about lately was I obviously use Instagram and my platforms as well to present my work or like just say, hey, I was at this event for work, I did for music, or I show the videos that I make and whatever. But I was thinking about it. I'm not free anymore on Instagram like I used to. Like I used to just post for fun, my outfits, whatever I'm interested in. Um, and now it's such a, oh my God, it's like my portfolio. I have to show you one niche thing of my work that is here. And if I don't match, like it's almost crazy, but if I don't match the aesthetic of my personal Instagram to this brand that I'm working for, they're gonna think I'm not fit, And this is something I think is so annoying. I don't know. Like, can we go back to I just apply for a job, I do my job really well, I do my best, and then it's but do I know? Now I also have to sacrifice my personal profiles online to showcase your brand. Like it's a bit much. I feel like it's a bit much. I don't like it. Leave me alone. Also, I'm sorry, I have to say this, but if you're my colleagues or ex-colleagues, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I don't want you guys to follow me. I don't want you guys to see what I'm doing. Like this is random. I might post, you know, something I'm doing outside of work or like I'm at an event and I don't want you guys to know. Like it's not that I know it's not that deep, but like in a sense, I don't want my boss to know 24/7 where I am and what I'm doing outside of work. So I just find that weird. And then again, working in creative industries is another topic. I should make a whole nother podcast about that. But I just don't like that, especially if I have a more creative role within the space. Like, I feel like I have to pattern match my whole personality to that job and that my bosses like me and stuff. And I don't know, it's just a bit much. Like I am there to create value for you and your brand and your company, but I'm not there to do anything else besides that. And yeah, sometimes obviously I stay for the banter or I stay for the site work event and it's great, but I don't know, like I want to do a good job and that's all I want to do. Um, so yeah, that's I think is annoying. And but on the positive side, there are so many resources online and you can basically learn everything. What I recently looked into is within this journey is I was looking at the CS50 course from Harvard and learning a bit more of the nitty-gritty of you know, algorithms, arrays, things within um software development. Sorry, my voice. Software development that is a bit more technical and stuff, just because I want to have the basis of like I know what I'm looking at. If I look at their code, or if I look at somebody's code, I know what I'm kind of looking at. Um, but yeah, this is everything. I would love to know your guys' opinion on this. Maybe in the next video, I'm gonna do a bit deeper dive on like products that I like or I don't like, or just interesting things to look at. And I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the rest of your day. And make sure you take your vitamins, make sure you drink enough water and not cough like I do. And thanks for tuning in again. I will be back soon. Have a great day. Bye bye, guys.